On behalf of Akuno Senko for Bay, you know what I'm saying? Jay, where you at? We're trying to help our people elevate. Hope. H-O-P-E. We're giving them hope. We doing what we gotta do, you know? Every day, one step at a time, man. We gonna make it happen. Helping our people elevate. Yeah. Sometimes I practice focus, thought, and meditate. I'm trying to come with other ways to help our people elevate and seeking knowledge, make me levitate. The lifted mental state is what results from how we orchestrate. This for the family's sake. Let's self-reflect and self-evaluate. And every day, make sure the steps you take, you calculate. Receive a master's fate. I know I can't exist without the hate, but that's okay. I balance that with higher self today. Success is on this way, and after that, my flesh can pass away.
Connell already know. Well, peace, everyone. Transatlantic slave trade ReLook part 2. We did part 1 2 weeks ago, so we'll do a recap. Y'all know how I like to do the recap of what was previously talked about at the previous study group, just to make sure we kind of all on the same accord. And we have that opportunity to kind of build and add value in our conversations. And that's a cooperative learning. It's real good to be able to learn, get different, multiple perspectives from presented information. It eliminates a lot of the confusion. I know it helps me personally that way, just to be able to hear different opinions on one topic that's, that we're building. And so that's what that opportunity is for, is for us to build, to give clarity as a unit, as a group, as a body politic on the information, so that we well settled in what we're saying. We on one accord, we can reference it, we can repeat it in different ways. And so that's why I like to do that. And so this is part 2, what we'll be doing today. Ujima study group. That's our website, which it operates just as a 501c3, and we understand the limitations, but we just use it as a vehicle to meet our situation where we are, to be able to get funding and just knowing the process, how to do certain stuff. And so we use that as a vehicle. We've gotten a lot of funds. We've gotten over 20,000, with grants and different things. And so we use that just to get funding. People around here, they only know about nonprofits, so they ask that question: do you got a nonprofit? I can't tell them a 508c1. It's another one, 501 or 508 or trust. Then they might not associate with it and think, oh, he trying to trick me. And that's just kind of our mindset, that I come across when in the area locally. So we use this as our vehicle. And so you're able to go to the nonprofit website, look at the work that we're doing. It's not our end goal. It's just a seed, a part of the bud, which will unfold into a new stage. And that's why I'll be a part of the conference. So we're able to take ourselves to a higher level of what we're organizing now. It's a bud, it's a seed that will unfold into new things. And so the study group is every second and fourth Wednesdays from 8 to 9:30 p.m. You can share this flyer. It's a reoccurring link. So it's the same link over and over and over. And it's scheduled structurally every second and fourth Wednesday. You can count on it every second and fourth Wednesday, unless it's like an event, or something going on. And so I'm just going to talk briefly about the community outreach, which is one of the mechanisms of what we're putting together. There's a lot of arms, a lot of different stuff to do, and but outreach is one of them. And so we go to also different foreign political zones. We went to Houston, Texas, to connect ourselves with people in the agricultural realm, the people who think in agriculture and gardening. And I've been learning again, more studious in my work. But these are the connections, the outreach outlets that can be used as our consciousness grows, different ways we can use them, implement, the stars, into our agricultural teaching, where we do presentations in these other foreign political zones when we're meeting other people that's into agriculture. So all this will be used as a tool to as a tool for outreach. So it's not just, oh, it's just a 501c3. It's just a tool for outreach, just to be able to coexist um, with the mindset that's out there, and it's been successful. But we know that's not the end goal. The bud will unfold into new life, and so we understand that. And so that's Houston, Texas. Few of us with some shirts. Like I said, the goal was to build with people that dealing with agriculture, dealing with gardening, and then like I say, we can bring the more science into the equation, dealing with agriculture, make it connected to their interests. So I learned that part of that community outreach deals with focusing on the level that they're on and their interests in that level that they're on, looking at what are their interests based on the stage that they're on, not just how you want them to be. And so that's the technique, that's the tactic, that I try to use, is to garden piece. These just people deal with garden. Then I structure how I want to reach them through the more science chess club, introduce vocabulary words, post-millennium, console, attorney, and contrast them. Use the chess club to do that, and just using it all as a tool for, and so I just offer that. This is the bi-weekly chess club. Children come together. We got different nationalities of children that come out to the chess club, and they enjoy it. And these models can be duplicated. That's why I showed my number in the beginning, because you can get with me, and I help you structure your program. It don't have to mention more in your program. You just talking community outreach, something that you can do to gain trust in the community, something that you can do consistently. That's not costly. You know, you can use your library, you can use, your recreation center, to be able to do these free programs. Whether you do it once a month, you can start out once a month, build a committee, delegate people. Yeah, I do it on this one, you do it on that one, and just create the curriculum. And that's what I help you with, for us, what I do with this. I'll help you create that. You ain't got to necessarily do chess or community garden, but I'm saying the concept of the outreach component, doing it consistently and reaching the people. Look into your community and see what's the interest. We seen a lot of trash, so we start picking up trash. So you peep the interest in your area. You see a lot of gun violence. You might want to do gun safety training. You don't have to mention the Moors off top, off the jump. You just you just use it to build relationship, a tool that they can respect you for the dude that do the gun training. You the one who help people, learn more about gun safety. So it won't be any shooting. Sometimes children playing with guns and adults, and it's happened where they've shot themselves. They shot themselves. Totally preventable. And so you can use that as a reason why you want to do gun training. You can, if you want to do a background check to be able to qualify your people, play the game just to build, and then you got all this other stuff working too. So it's a seed that unfold. It's just working on the stage that it's on. That's not what it is. That's just the stage that it's on in that time. And so you can utilize these different techniques just to reach the people. That's very critical. And then you build a rapport with them. You build respect with them, and then you use whatever platform, and you can teach the history. You can show how the Moors controlled the Mediterranean Sea using the treaties when you're talking war and guns. And so you just connect it, and you build it in, like that. This community outreach, where we just talking about food, the importance of growing our own food, all the what ifs, just building. We didn't have a classroom out with pamphlets. We just out there, everybody having their chance to talk and say what they want to say, you know. And we were doing some work. We was out at the garden doing some work, a couple of the brothers. Um, some of them we even will compensate, you know. And so you build your budget. Your budget has to be looked at and built, you know, so that you're able to see what you can. You don't freely give without knowing, because it's long term planning. So yeah, you want to be able to freely give. I understand the goal is to be able to freely give, but I'm saying you have to look at categorize how much contractual support out of the money that you do got, how much can go towards compensating somebody to help, how much goes toward the water bill, how much go towards creating your fertilizer, you know, or your landscape fabric, you know, supplies, repairs, how much can go towards that. And so you start manifesting it, writing it down, come up with a number. How possible, you know, just guess it. You know, with whatever you can use to measure your guess. But just you won't be all the way right. That's cool. But just use that and guess, you know, how much does it cost to repair a shovel? Can you get some screws, put the screw? I delegate $300 for repairs this year, type thing. And that's why I show my number so you can get with me and I can help be a part of your outreach tactic. Because it's not really a lot, you know, you just got to set it beforehand and be looking forward to it, and nothing else can override that. And so when it's time to do it, that's just important. That's like you can't call out sick type thing. It's like you in the plant and you got a point system and you on your last point, you'll go to work sick. So it's like you got to go to your program like that type mindset. Like I don't want to call out, and if you do, that's cool. Just have somebody that can substitute, that can step in. I had to do that this last couple Saturdays ago. I couldn't make it because I had a smoothie event. I wanted to go make the Federal Reserve notes. I needed to have some notes on me, and so one of the brothers I let him knew what was going on, and so he did the chess club for me, and they just did free play, whatever level they was on, they was able to just move in there and play, you know, and enjoy themselves. And then this Saturday we'll go back to the teaching. And so you can be sick, you can take days off, but since you your own boss and creating your program, you have to find somebody that can fall in place. It don't have to be the same thing you do. They they can do some talk, but keep the consistency. Keep it rolling. Don't come up with excuses why you don't need to do it. Create a way where you still the energy still there in the room, and it continues to build whether you're there or not. That's the goal of this kind of stuff. You know, and so you talk with friends and family, and you pull people in to be a part of your different outreach, whether it's just Friday talk, men talk, and you get with the children for an hour. Y'all throw food on the grill. You show them how to grill a different way, and y'all just talk, straight up talk. You can do that once, twice a month. You can do that. You know, but the problem is just knowing what to do. But you can really do anything. So you'll get with me. You can call me, text me. Let's come up with how can I outreach? How can I reach my community without telling them that they're Moors, without saying that, not even saying that. I'm saying, how do you just we talking about that. And so you can get with me and we can create different outreaches where you're able to reach the community without saying that you're Moor. Then you strategically bring it in. The recordings you can find on Brother Kano's page, helping our people elevate. Subscribe. You can do it now while we're talking now. You can go to your phone and type in helping our people elevate. The logo may be different. I'm not sure, but you'll know you're there when you see helping our people elevate. Be sure to subscribe, send it out. A lot of our recordings not just this one though, but you'll see other recordings go on there. A lot of the stuff that Brother Kono does. If you want to briefly come on, Brother Kono, and just talk about the interviews, it may be some people that want to be interviewed on or something. But if you want to just talk about that, helping our people elevate a little bit before we move to the next slide.
Peace, peace. Yes, helping our people elevate. Hope is my YouTube platform. You can get interviews, our classes, uh, uh, yeah, our interviews, our classes, when I say interviews, I have an interview that's uploading now with Brother Asir, Brother Duke Asir, Cordoba, I believe is how you say his last name. But I get interviews from different Moors, you know, how they came into the science, how long they've been into the science, you know, different outreaches, different things that they do in the community. Local people from my community that talk about the different stuff that they do, whether it's music or just various different things. But yeah, this is my platform. I mean, my YouTube channel, helping our people elevate. If you haven't, check it out, subscribe to it. If you have, I appreciate you. I have consistent content coming, and that's pretty much it. Peace.
Peace, peace. You also can go to Moroccan Post Media. And there's a lot of free classes and courses where you can, dive in, and you can even create PowerPoints that when you do your study groups, you can use information from there, and build your study groups from going to Moroccan Post and Brother Kano and get information out, and how it come in your mind. You can, keep just relay the information using your own vibration. And but go to Moroccan Post Media and subscribe. You can do it now. And so we're gonna do a recap of some of the stuff we went over the last study group, the fourth Wednesday. And so I open the floor up for some of you that was on, and some of you that wasn't on. Etymology is the study of the origin of words and its different forms. But you can Google what etymology is and kind of check that out. But etymology is the study of the origin of words and tracing it within its different forms. So Q&A recap from Transatlantic Slave Trade Part 1. What is the etymology of slave? Anybody know the etymology of slave?
Would it be
Slavic.
Slavic?
Slavic. What is a Slavic?
Slavic is
European?
the peoples of the Baltic region.
Okay. Yeah.
Or the Baltic area.
And so that's what he's going to read is here. You go to slave, then it says Slav, and then so you'll click on Slav. And this is what he was saying. One of the people who inhabit most of Eastern Europe. Late 14th century, slave from medieval Latin, sclavis from was 800th century, from Byzantine Greek, skablos from 580th century, from a shortening of Proto-Slavic Slovenia, a Slav, which is probably related to Slovo word speech, which suggests the name originally identified a member of a speech community. Compare Old Church Slavonic, Nemnasa Germans, related to Nimu, dumb, Greek, heterophonous, foreign, literally of different voice. Old English, pedo, which meant both race and language. So one of the people inhabiting most of Eastern Europe, and so a slave, our ancestors was not slaves. What they did was manipulated and controlled the meaning of the word. And Philip K. Dick, he has a quote, is the easiest manipulation of reality is the manipulation of words. If you can control the meaning of the words, you can control the people who got to use the word. And so your ancestors was not slaves. That's a creation that they put in your mind based off of connotative meaning, constructing the new meaning for the benefit. And we talked about in one of the other study groups how words are weapons, just like the gun, just like the sword, on the same level, if not even a more drastic weapon than the gun, because the gun only can shoot and kill one person, or type at a time. You can kill a lot of people with a gun. I'm not arguing that, but what I'm saying, words are slick, more powerful than that. But we've been taught that the gun is on the forefront of our mind when we think of being under attack. So that's why I took my time out to say that your ancestors wasn't slaves, because that's a generational attack. That's manipulation and mind control. That's more dangerous than a gun. So, but we've been taught guns, bombs, knives, smoke, flashbangs. We've been taught that's all we think of when we think. We never looked at words like we do. Oh, gun. We need to ban guns. Well, we need to ban how words are used. We need to ban, the manipulation of word, type thing. We don't talk like that. We say let's ban guns. Some of whoever say that because of the gang violence, the shootings, but we never looked at the trauma that words cause. Nobody said let's ban the changing of words. Let's use the original word. They're not arguing that, but they arguing. We need to do something with the guns. I gotta have a gun license. I gotta do that. I gotta say that. Just based on what we think weapons are. And so your ancestors wasn't slaves. That's a weapon. That's a generational attack of mind control. When was the transatlantic slave trade claimed? When was the claim? Anybody? It's open right now. This part open. When was the transatlantic slave trade claimed? You can comment in the chat too, if you're afraid.
Do you mean when if it's referring to when the transatlantic slave trade occurred, or when was the claim made?
Yeah, when was the alleged claim? When did it occur? The time period that it occurred?
And is it the 1600s?
1500s through what?
To probably like the 1800s?
Yep. Yeah,
Really
that's the
no,
claim.
but I was just trying to figure out from what I was studying.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So they say in over 300 years from the 1500s to the 1800s that they brought millions, 12 million Africans from the continent of Africa that's known as Africa today over across the Atlantic Ocean to what's known as North and South America today. They said they brought over 12 million Africans over here. That's the claim during the 1500s through the 1800s. And that's what we're analyzing. We know that they said that. And so we reanalyzing that with using something that we can use to support the treaties, and other stuff that can be used to support. Because the transatlantic slave trade claim really ain't been supported, really. It's just taken as face value because they teach it in schools. And so since they taught it in school and we were young, we were impressionable, we accepted that as truth because that's what was told us. The parents told us we had to get our A's and B's, so I got to repeat that in order to pass through. So that's the only thing I can say. And so we reanalyzing all that. Did the Treaty of Peace between Great Britain and Algiers, October 30th, 1664, did it talk about British slaves in that treaty? Did the Treaty of Peace between Great Britain and Algiers, October 30th, 1664, did it talk about British slaves in the sense of how we know what slaves mean today? We understand what slave means, Slavic, but now based on what's been taught to us, that's how I'm asking that question connotatively, the British slave part. So don't do me like, don't pick it apart like that in this sense. Did the Treaty of Peace between Great Britain and Algiers, October 30th, 1664, talk about British slaves? Yes or no?
If I'm not mistaken, they talked more about like subjects, uh, and not really slaves as we know. And it was more about ships and cargo or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, we're gonna go to
Oh,
the
I would say no.
all right, let me we're gonna read it. This is,
Okay.
we're gonna read it.
To be sure, right? Okay, cool.
Not that. That ain't the one I want. 1 second. Hmm. All right, read Article 3. This is the same Great Britain and Algiers, October 30th, 1664. Somebody read Article 3, read Article 3. That's what
Article,
that's what it
sorry,
talked
Article,
about. That's what the treaty talked about, Article 3. Go ahead.
Articles of Peace between Great Britain and Algiers, 30th of October, 1664. Section 3, that all subjects of the King of Great Britain and now slaves in Algiers or any of the territories thereof be set at liberty and delivered upon paying the price they were first sold for in the market. And for the time to come, no subjects of his majesty's be bought or sold or made slaves if in Algiers or its territories.
So what's the answer to that question?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Okay. One more question is when he's speaking of the slaves here, he's talking about the Slavics, not the slaves that we've been taught, right?
Well, they're referencing the British population.
Okay. So was they treated on the level that they claimed that we was treated as Negro, black, and colored?
That's I get you. I can with you. That's kind of another thing to get into.
Okay.
I
Gotcha.
can't
I
say right
understand.
now,
I
but
understand.
yeah, I'm with you. That's how I do it. That's how
Something to
I be want to
actually
know the answer then,
investigate.
so it
So
can
that's
line up.
something I should investigate on my own then, basically, to find out answer
Right.
is to be
I can't
investigated.
say that. Well, I can't. I won't go into that. We'll continue.
Okay. Okay. All right.
The treaties discussed in part one of the transatlantic slave trade claim presentation express the need for attorneys or consuls or both. The treaties that we did look at last study group, did they express the need for attorneys, consuls, or both?
Uh, councils. I didn't really hear anything about attorneys, if I'm not mistaken.
And yeah, I don't believe attorneys maybe would apply to treaties, that consuls would be in that international law context.
So anybody else? We got some in the comments. Yes, the answer is consuls. That the treaties discuss that. They didn't mention the treaties, didn't mention the word attorney. So you like, why are people what's going on? Something's wrong somewhere, you know. And so it's interesting. All right, consul. Somebody read that from me.
Let's see if I can see let's see. Oh, council, plural noun, one, an official appointed by a government to live in a foreign city and protect and promote the government's citizen and interest there, the British Council in Israel.
All right. So a consul is an official appointed by a government. So just because you on a Facebook page and you create a website and you got a lot of information on there and you got a little notary stamp and you got a 1-800 number and you answer the phone between 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you can send out documents. Does that make you a consul?
No.
A consul is someone appointed by a government, but you got people saying that they're consuls. They will say to you that they're a consul because somebody said something. That's or whatever. They the national, the new Moroccan federal government of the world, And so
Wow.
they really talking like that though. And I met a lot of folks through my journey and still learning, still growing, but that's how they would, if you sign over to this, you sign this document, and if you mail it, to Santa Claus, he'll send his gift back on the third Thursday of November type thing. They just telling you to do stuff, that something's magically gonna happen, and then people gonna start respecting people without us having any accountability towards what's going on. And so you got to be aware of that, because you'll be told that it already exists, that consuls are already out here because they got on their garment, they got their shirt and shit on, they're a consul because they can use big words and they know a little bit that you don't know. Only thing you need to know, was you appointed by a government? And if so, what government? And that's all you need. It don't matter how they putting it on you, what they saying about it. Also a consul, just another definition. Consul, it deals with government, commerce. Consuls are commercial agents appointed by government to reside in the seaports of a foreign country and commit foreign not meaning distance in relation to another. My house, we can both live on the same street, and my house is foreign to your. You live on 101 Consul Street. I live on 102 Consul Street, and we're foreign. The laws of our house are foreign. It ain't got nothing to do with distance. Consul, government, commerce. Consuls are commercial agents appointed by government to reside in the seaports of a foreign country and commissioned to watch over the commercial rights and privileges of the nations deputing them. A vice consul is one acting in the place of a consul. Consuls have been greatly multiplied. Their duties and privileges are now generally limited, defined, and secured by commercial treaties or by the laws of the countries they represent. As a general rule, it may be laid down that they represent the subjects or citizens of their own nation, not otherwise represented. And then attorney. So we read the definition of a consul, which we see referenced in the treaties. We don't see attorney in the treaties. Now we're going to look at the definition of attorney. The Webster Dictionary meaning. One who is legally appointed to transact business on another's behalf. So this now, see, ain't got nothing to do with, you just need a contract. One who's legally appointed. And you become, based on this definition, you become an attorney. One who is legally appointed to transact business on another's behalf. So hiring an attorney and having a consul is a different jurisdiction of law. You're talking about different rights and duties. Consul, you're not talking the United States Constitution. attorney, you may be talking that. So now we'll look at the etymology of attorney. Early 14th century, mid, and it's a noun in this sense. Early 14th century, mid 13th century in Anglo-Latin, one appointed by another to act in his place. From Old French, attorney, one appointed. Past participle of attorner, to decree, assign, appoint, from attorner to assign, literally to turn to. And then it says see a turn. So a turn is the root. So we got to go see that then. So we go to attorney. To a turn. Late 13th century Anglo-French, to turn over to another. So attorneys dealing with people who are refuge. They don't have, in this sense, they're captured. They don't have proper representation with the family of nations. So they're like cattle, and from one owner to the next, they can be turned over. Whoever can control you, type ordeal, because we're unconscious. We don't care. We know where all is to know. And so that with that mindset, we being a turn. They're turning everything. Because you looked at like you're something, an item. And they just turn you over to somebody else who talk to you and play tricks, and then you still get time. You hire him to still get time. We're hiring attorneys to still go to jail. They got us on that level. Who controlled the Mediterranean Sea during the same time period as the transatlantic slave trade claim, according to the treaties? Who controlled the Mediterranean Sea during the same time period as the transatlantic slave trade claim, according to the treaties? It's open now. Or you can comment in the chat.
Morocco.
Okay, anybody else? You can also comment in the chat if you're not able to.
It's the Ottoman Empire.
You said the Ottoman Empire?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? And so, yeah, you had the Moors and Turks. The Moors and Turks controlled the Mediterranean, and they look like you and I. So keep that in mind too. And the Ottoman comes from the Osman house. So it's still a group of Moors, still your same people. And they formed the Ottoman Empire. And so the Moors controlled the Mediterranean Sea, not the English, not the British, not the French. But they told you they was transporting millions of people during this same time period. During the same time period. All right, now we're going to read the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the United States and His Emperor Majesty, the Emperor of Morocco. So the United States has a treaty with the Emperor of Morocco. And at this time, remember the United States, this 1787. And so keep in mind now, this during the American Revolutionary War, you had the United States didn't always exist. So they had the Declaration of Independence, they fought against the Great Britain. They fought against their brothers and sisters. They went to war with their mother, their political mother who had everything set up for their behalf. They went to war against that. And so during this treaty, when this treaty was made, you got to keep in mind how new the 13 states were. They were styled and called the United States, but they're talking about the 13 states. And you know how you might got a lot of, let's say you got a lot of different items in Walmart type thing. You got, you know, you can go get peanuts, you can go get hamburgers, you can go get all these different things, but it's all inside of Walmart. And so you got the 13 states just being known to the world as the United States. They're known as the United States. So you can go to Walmart to get these various things, but it's coming from Walmart. So you can, I'm just using that just to show you the United States is not something of itself. It's from the creation by the 13 states. And during that time is when they rose up against their mother, so they were new. And then their first treaties that they ever had was with the Moors. And so I'm like, man, why wouldn't the United States is over here where we standing at now, and on the land operating as a political zone. But why would some of their first treaties be with somebody who didn't influence the area that they currently in? So I'm like, why would the United States, why did they have a treaty with the Ottoman Empire? Their first treaty, you know, type thing. Why did they have their first treaty with you know, with the Ottoman Empire? Why was it with Morocco over here though? And then you compare all the other information available. You say, damn, we in Morocco. And the jurisdictional control was Morocco. That's why the United States had to have sit down with somebody and talk about it. Because that's the zone, you know, that you're operating in. And the influencer, the hosting nation of that zone is Morocco, meaning they influence in the area according to treaty. But go ahead, bro. Who just raised their hand?
Yeah, I was trying to I was saying like from what you're saying, it was something I seen when through a monarch a system, and I guess it was such a great war. This is not a true story, but it kind of fits in what you're saying from a monarch, which was a king and a queen. And then I guess something happened where it was so much chaos, and then the king got hurt. So they decide, okay, we won't have a king no more. So one person wouldn't be um like a target. So they broke down into like this government type of stuff, and then it started being with business and commerce, which I'm seeing right here. It's like somebody was rebelling against someone, and I guess they kind of like went across and met with with the Moroccans, and I guess they started doing business together from what it seemed from what you're saying in some kind of story like that, because um hmm, it's just interesting because I'm like trying to figure out like what like why would you, if you had something going good with your mother, it's like, so it's had to be something that or like I'm what do you call that, rebelling against something or something because I don't want to listen to my parents or something,
Mm-hmm.
type of thing is what's going on right here. It seemed like to me that's from this story I'm getting right here. So hopefully that was kind of understandable.
So let's dive into the articles and let's read some of the articles. Somebody take what's that? Article 16. Article 14. Article 14.
Article 14,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the commerce with the the United States shall be on the same footing as is the commerce with Spain, or as that with the most favorite nation for the time being, and their citizens shall be respected, and esteemed esteemed and full liberty to pass and repass over countries and seaports whenever they please, without interruptions.
So they gotta move. They gotta move around. Like brother was saying, they trying to do commerce. And so they're going under a contract with someone who influenced the area where they doing commerce. Right?
Yes.
All right. Article 20.
Article 20, if any of the citizens of the United States or any persons under their how disputes, I think we're missing some of the sentence. How disputes protection shall have any disputes with each other, the council shall be settled, decide between the parties, and whenever the council shall require any aid or assistance from our government to enforce his decisions, it shall be immediately granted to him.
Still talking consuls. They're not talking attorneys. So when you talking about attorneys with a kinsman, you can bring up the treaty. It ain't got to be this treaty. No treaties talk about attorneys. And you don't let the United States Constitution be your basis of reasoning. So use the treaties, because the United States, we're gonna look at the treaty when the United States didn't exist. So the United States Constitution didn't exist. Articles of Confederation didn't exist. The Articles of Association didn't exist. It didn't even exist. So we can't, while we go into the Constitution, everything we support, we have to go with something that's well settled, that's always existed, in the sense of maintaining the concept. And the treaties that's our tool to look back. The Sankofa bird, that's our tool to reach back to what was before us and see what was going on. It's a tool. And then Article 22, if an American citizen shall die in our country and no will shall appear, the consul shall take possession of his effects. And if there be no consul, the effects shall be deposited in the hands of some worthy of trust. So they talking trust in the tree, wills and trust, until the party shall appear who has and the Constitution is a trust. The 13 states that formed the Constitution, they had trust in each other. They put in trust in one another. And the language became binding on how they will operate for the generations to come. They clothed themselves to protect their interests through language so that they could maintain what they had through generations to come. They had to write it out so that they can see in the future. And so, but you got to have actual trust, meaning you got to have community outreach. You can't just have a trust, just get a sheet of paper and call it a trust and think that it's supposed to be respected as a real trust. The value is in the action of it. You just use that as the guideline. Like if you playing basketball, you go to the book, the basketball book to see how you play. And then that's your basis of playing. You don't play outside of bounds. What you do don't count. What we doing don't count. We playing out of bounds. And so we got to get in bounds of the world, what the world do, not how we feel, but how the world operate and what's going on and what's well settled through the treaties. And we build a trust through our outreach and building and being a part of stuff and talking and building the actual trust. And then we formalize it through an agreement. And it becomes binding on everybody involved, because that's how you want to operate for your posterity, your children, your grandmother. You want them to be, they're not protected right now. If something happened to you, what happens with your wife, what support for government structure-wise, you know, all that type of thinking though. You know, you're not really getting representation from the United States. You being maintained, they give you nuggets, you know, dog treats. I know they do that. You know what I'm saying? But without knowledge of who we are, then we'll take scraps because we don't have full knowledge of our history. Because we use the high school textbooks as a basis of what we should be able to do. And so the treaties give you a different basis, a different level of playing. And it's a trust. Until the party shall appear who has a right to demand them, but if the heir to the person deceased to be present, the property shall be delivered to him without interruption. And if a will shall appear, the property shall descend agreeable to that will as soon as the consul shall declare the validity thereof. And so this is the Treaty of Tripoli. We read in this particular treaty, it doesn't mention Moor and Turk in this treaty, but we visited a treaty last study group, Treaty of Tripoli, but it was with Great Britain and Great Britain and Tripoli, still Tripoli, and you'll see where they mentioned Moors and Turks, so that they're still the same people. You can go to that treaty that was in the last study group. There's still the Treaty of Tripoli, but it was with Great Britain. The United States didn't exist. It was like 1664. So the United States, like 100 years before about 100 years before the United States came about, what the Treaty of Tripoli between the Bay of Tripoli and Great Britain, about 100 years before the United States existed. And they were still Turks and Moors. These people didn't just change. They're the same people. And so the Treaty of Tripoli with the United States, it don't say Moor in here, but they talking about Mohammedan nations. So the Mohammedans, you still talking Moors. You know, Islamic, Muslim men, you still talking Moors. You don't see the word Moor in this text, but I'm saying that Treaty of Tripoli in 1664 between Great Britain and the Bay and subjects of Tripoli mentioned Moor. So same people. Somebody take Article 11.
Article 11, as the government of the United States of America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion, as it has in itself no character of enmity against the laws, religion, or tranquility of Mussulmen, and as the said states never entered into any war or act of hostility against any Mohammedan nation, it is declared by the parties that no pretext arising from religious opinions shall ever produce an interruption of the harmony existing between the two countries.
So the United States they'll tell you that it ain't even founded on a Christian, you know, that's what they say right here. But then you got a lot of us who just caught up. They caught up, but this gives them a basis to look at. I don't want to go into that way. But yeah, so you still talking about the Moors, the Mohammedans, the Muslims, you know. You still talking more. Go ahead. All right. And so this is the Articles of Peace and Commerce between Great Britain and Tripoli, signed at Tripoli. So this is the 1676. Let me see. Well, but it's still Tripoli, and you'll see, but there is one 1664. It may be Algiers, but still, you're still talking Moors and Turks though. And but in this treaty, 1676, the United States didn't exist still though. Still didn't exist. In this particular one, 1664 is still a treaty. But this particular one, 1676, the United States still didn't exist. And the people of Tripoli, and the highlighted in the yellow, you're talking about Turks and Moors. You never see Negro come up in the treaties, Black people, African American, none of these terms. Colored man, colored person, and so you see the word Moor, and some of the other study groups that we looked at, we traced the word, and we seen how they use the word Black or Moor, in the etymology of Black. You will see that it means pale. And so you see the power of etymology words being used as guns, words being used as bombs, words being used as pepper spray, words being used as poison, words being used as arrows, words being used as lasers, words being used as landmines, words being used as manipulation, words being used to control, words being used to take away value within yourself. Words, though, being used as weapons. So it's not, we just need to call ourselves Moors, and not, if you see it as that, that's what you said. You thinking that's what we talking about. Instead of using the word Black, we need to use the word Moor. And then that's it. If you think that this is what this is about, you have to continue to be a part. And I just say that because you never know what stage people are on that's listening. And that's what I came across when I was, maneuvering. So what? I was supposed to call myself Moor. So I start putting on applications more. I start writing in, checking other, thinking that it was what people was wanting us to do. I check other and write more in. But that's not what's going on here. That's wrong thought. It's not just to call ourselves. That's part of what got to be done, but I'm saying it's the resurrection of the structure behind claiming to be a Moor. Not just saying that there's a structure that Moors went by, and you can trace it in the treaties and other places. And this is the Treaty of Tripoli. Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the United States and the Bey and subjects of Tripoli in 1796. And you'll see they talking about passports. So you'll see in the treaty so the United States is not like over passports. Like, oh, you got to have a United States passport to be able to do stuff in the world. That's what we think. That's when I say we, I'm including our unconscious brothers and sisters, not just us on today, but as one people right now, the majority of us that's operating, think that you have to have a United States passport, or you can't do stuff, or it won't be respected, or it won't be recognized. But see, we ain't never looked at the treaties. And so you'll see they talking about passports and different stuff in the treaties. Governments issue that. And you'll see in the other slides, you'll see, like the divan, you'll see Bay. And so these are government, this is government. And you can see that on the signature page that we'll look at of this treaty. We're gonna go to the signature page so we can see the contract. We're looking at the contract. And so this is the signature page of that treaty we just was looking at. And you have the Bey, a treasurer, a minister of marine. So now you already know that there's, there's a militia. There's people to protect your interests that uses the weapons that we know of. But the weapons that's used in politics, in law, are words. And so you got the general of the troops, you got the commander of the city, you got the chamberlain and the chief of the divan. you got secretary. And so you see, that's a trust, because everybody got their own role that actually live out, not just walk around talking about stuff. They're living it out, because they have, government to government relation. They got to maintain stuff, and be professional and understand, political science and how it operates, that it's not done by individuals or just because somebody say something, just because that really don't mean nothing at all, because people got a website and they can email you back, and so, and you'll see, and the agent plenipotentiary of the United States of America, Joel Barlow. So he's an agent. He was appointed. And so you see that's the trust, not just having a document that, that ain't. And so he was speaking on behalf of the 13 states, Joel Barlow. And so Bay, and we're going to look up the etymology of Bay, since that's one of the words that was right there. What is a Bay? So somebody read, what is a Bay? What is a Bay?
Bey, a noun, a governor of a Turkish district, 1590s, from Turkish Bey, a title of a noble in a princely family. The art, what, Os, Osmanli,
yeah. Equivalent.
Osmanli equivalent of Turkish Bey, Turkish Bey, which is coordinate with Persian bag, a lord, also from 1590s.
So a Bey is a high officer. You know how we, sheriff, type.
Right.
How the supervisor, whatever, the mayor, the general, the governor, the president.
Right.
We associate that with strength. A Bey is a powerful officer.
Yeah.
Compared to a lord, on how whatever a lord means, how they got it constructed right now. So a Bey is somebody of high status. It's not anybody, So that's a Bey deals with government structure. You can go to mooresandmasonry.org to purchase these books. And I think the reason why I brought that up is because we was dealing with a lore, and I didn't want to go too deep into like the mystical type of talking. And so these books they help demystify a lot of the concepts, that we have, when dealing with these, like the connotative meaning of devil, Satan, and all that stuff. Look at the pyramid, or the dragon, or the cyclops, or the KKK costume, or the flower de luce, and all that, or the all-seeing eye, all mystical talking, the mystical world, and then you'll disappear if you touch this 3 times, And so these you can go to mooresandmasonry.org to look at these books to help unmystify what's been going on, and see that this is dealing with government structure and how to civilize the planet, is knowledge. And so it's to be used, not assembled. And so we seen divan. So what is a divan? Somebody read divan.
Divan, noun, 1500s, Oriental Council of State, from Turkish divan, from Arabic diwan or diwan, from Persian divan, bundle of written sheets, small book, collection of poems, as in the divan-i-hafiz, related to, sorry, it's cut off,
Yeah, it's cut off.
or that might be the end of it. Dabir writer. Sense evolved in Arabic through Book of Accounts to Office of Accounts, Custom House, Council Chamber, and then to long cushioned seat, such as are found along the walls in Middle Eastern council chambers. The sofa couch sense was taken into English 1702. The Book of Poems sense, especially a collection by a single author, by 1787.
Okay. And so the divan, it's saying Turkish divan, but just by analyzing the treaty where the treaty was both mentioning Moors and Turks. And so you'll see they're both being protected under the same umbrella, the same trust, the same contract. They're both in the same, they're being protected the same way. And so don't see Turks as somebody, alien to you, because you're both being protected under the same treaties. That's what came to my mind as I was reading. I was like, well, why am I saying the Turkish divan? Then you start thinking something else. So the Moors and Turks coexisting under the same treaties. You'll see. So these are people related, one and the same type of, based on, that's what I get from looking at it and analyzing it and just playing it through my mind, that they're not alien to one another. The laws and the stuff both apply to both of them. So they're not alien to one another. They're brothers and sisters. And then it's talking books of accounts to office of accounts. So now you're dealing with you're dealing with your government. This is government structure, and this is the divan is your secure party creditor. The divan is your secure party creditor. They're dealing with books of accounts. That they're keeping up with the exchange, the currency, the median of exchange. So that's your secure party creditor. It's the divan. So the divan has not been, so the UCC thing is like chess. It's just to keep you occupied at something outside of this. If I can let you take a couple of my pieces, if you're playing chess, I can allow you to take my bishop and knight. I can allow you to file some UCCs, but you still ain't won the game by doing that. You just got a few of my pieces. But I'm thinking checkmate. I'll sacrifice my bishop in this, whatever piece I said. I sacrifice those pieces in order to checkmate you. So that was why they pushing us to do UCCs and leans and and do all of that, because it's chess. As long as you occupy, we're not resurrecting what protects your people, then that's a chess move. They just playing chess with you. They want you to be occupied with filing UCC paperwork to the United States or to the state of. They rather you do that. And I mentioned Oriental, and Oriental of relating to or situated in the Orient, of relating to or coming from Asia, and especially Eastern Asia. And that's the Webster Dictionary. Then, we always like to use etymology to look at stuff. And so you also can go to moorsandmasonry.org to purchase these etymology and vocabulary books. And so it's real good to build your vocabulary skills. And so these books will help with that, on seeing how words are similar. It's just, how they've brought it to us, we don't see the similarity. but then you'll begin to see, consonants and vowels and how they move around, transliterated and shifted to change the vibration, the pitch, and all of that. When you purchase these books, so you can get that to kind of see the power of etymology and not think it's just something just to talk about today. It's a tool. Like if I put a gun in your head, we don't see words as that. That's why I'm trying to put it on the same level, if not even more dangerous. We don't see words as that. If I walk to you today and put a gun on your forehead, you don't see me using words as doing that. So you can be tricked your whole life and not even know. At least when they put the gun on you, you know what he on, because he pulled the gun out on you. Now you can receive him like that. But if I can just tell you anything and manipulate you for generations, you don't even know. That's more dangerous. I'm still robbing you. So when you rob people, you go put a gun on them. You tell them to give up their resources. So take away the gun, and I use words, and I still take your resources. What's the difference? Somebody come on today and tell me the difference. There is none. So words are powerful, if not more powerful than the gun, but we keep worrying about that. All of it's tied, though. All of it's to be worried about. But I'm saying, which one do you want? A revolver or AK-47 with a scope on it? Which one do you choose? And so we need to be looking at words and how they're used to control our children in the future for time to come. That's more powerful. Oriental, the etymology of Oriental, late 14th century, of the Orient from the East, from Old French, Oriental, Eastern, from the East, 12th century, and directly from Latin, Orientalis, of or belonging to the East. From Orientum, see Orient. So then we gotta go look at Orient. And then so that's how you do this when you use etymology. Just keep going to the next word. And so the Orientals, at first, they reference Asia in the Webster Dictionary. But as you continue to dig, it ain't saying nothing, it ain't doing your mind like that. It's talking about the directions. So that's dealing with a lot of people. So you are the Orientals. And now you have the U.S. Embassy in Tunis. And so this is the Treaty of Peace and Friendship signed at Tunis, August 28, 1797. And so now, now the United States, the 13 states, created Congress, and now they're operating and they exist now though. And this time they exist, but they didn't always exist. And, but in here, you're going to see where the United States were being under attack. Now, this is during the same time period, all of this, during this, that they taught us about the transatlantic slave trade, but didn't mention the costly attacks of the Moors and Turks. They calling you the barbarian. You are the barbarian pirates. You're not a pirate. I'm saying, you see the power of words? That's all. Because when you come to read, if you read barbarian pirates in a dissertation, or a treatise or something that you're reading, and they use the word barbarian pirate or Moor, or something besides Negro, black, color, and African, you're not connected. So you ain't really focused on that part. You don't see that they was at war with your people. You see that, the Indians went through this, the Moors went through this. They just got you divide and conquer. They divide you up so they can conquer you with using language. You divide them up and you conquer them. So when you go back in the history and you start reading, that's like erasing everything your parents taught you. I grab your brain and pull everything out from now, in your age right now, or anything that you learned from the age that you are now, all the way back to when you came out your mother's womb. What if somebody could erase that? Not just what your parents taught you, but I'm saying from the streets to the mentors, to your parents, to the school, to the experiences, erase all of that. That's what, who are you? You'll be like a baby. You don't know what food to eat. You can't, you don't know how to read any language. You can't cook and prepare meals. You don't know what foods can heal you. You go get stuff that hurts you, but you don't know. So you'll go to the doctor and you'll get something from the doctor that'll kill you slowly. You'll send your children to the ones who murdered your ancestors to be taught life and to live and be a great person. You're sending the children to them. So that's the power of erasing though, everything you've been taught. A person becomes disposable. Go ahead, Sadiq.
I was gonna ask a question about so when I was growing up, they used to say like they barbarians or barbarians or something like that. Does that uh fit into where they get that word barbarian from, barbers, or that's what they were, you know what I mean? Like, have you ever heard that? Like they say like it was barbarians and savages and stuff like that, using it
Yeah,
as
you
a
said where
bad
they get
term.
it from?
Yeah, I'm saying that didn't come from barbers is what I'm asking. And did that come from that word barber?
Oh, did barbarian come from the word barber?
Yeah.
But
Is that why they were using that to try to like say something bad about barbers?
yeah, then Berbers,
Yes.
barbarian. I don't know if it came you have to look at
Um,
the etymology of it. Go ahead.
Okay, okay,
yes, and I'll put a link in the chat to an article that I had found not too long ago on it, so it'll explain it more, and I can also read it if anyone's like when I find it. Give me a moment.
okay.
Yeah, when
And
you find it, let us know. We'll read it. You can also
okay,
post it,
Yeah,
but
moment.
we'll read it just so
Okay.
because since he asked that, we'll read it.
okay. And then I have one more question. I mean, it's not like a question, but it goes into what you're saying on how powerful these words are. Because if I ask you, you probably know because you did a lot more research than a lot of us on like what would be your native language, for instance. Like we speak in English and we know as you study, you'll find out that English was like a language was given to the people for like the commerce or something like that. I'm not really for sure if that's so, but that's what I was thinking. So I was saying like it was so powerful that we can't even really remember our the tongue that our people were speaking before the colonial occupiers completely. You probably do, like I said. And also I can't I mean, I've did the research to find my grandparents, like, but you really can't just find your great, 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 great grandmother, great grandmother like that, because the ways that they taught us stripped us from that knowledge, is what I was trying to say about what you were saying, how powerful the words is, and that they can hurt you so deeply.
Right. Yeah. And so in this here, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, you in this paragraph, the United States signed a treaty with Tunis in order to end. I mean, it was happening already. The costly attacks of the Barbary pirates on American commercial shipping in the Mediterranean. And so remember, they're a new nation. They're independent, Declaration Independent. They knew they got, and so they don't have protection. And so they had protection when they was clothed with Great Britain. But then when they declared their independence, they was recognized, by Great Britain in the Treaty of Paris of 1783 that ended the war between them. And so there wasn't a powerful nation, in 1797. And so they were getting molested and stuff happened to them during the same time period as the transatlantic slave trade. So remember, all this supposed to be going on. And then, I just wanted to say that. But so they didn't even control the Mediterranean. So, you're like, dang, they didn't say that in school. They taught like they was trading spice and goods from over here, from Europe to over here, and like they were just freelancing, just whatever they wanted to do, they could do. That wasn't the case. But see the power of words, how I can make myself look powerful. It's just because they've taught us this, that we, they're so great and powerful. But that's why though, they use words to do it though. And I wanted just to bring this up because I wanted to kind of fast forward, because then you'll see a lot of the so-called Indian wars. But really we know that the Indians are really the Moors. And then you see I got the associated bands, but they're all Moors. And you'll see in this code, Title 29, Chapter 1, Jurisdiction and Sovereignty of the Delaware Code. So like you got the Georgia Code, you say, oh, go, I violated this code. This in the Code of Delaware. And they telling you just clear as day that the Indians, known as the Delawares, is the Lenni Lenape. And they're formerly known as Moors. And so you say, dang, wars was going on. Ships was being taken. They were paying annual tribute and transporting millions of slaves. And so that's why that part left out. So it didn't give us reasoning. We didn't have a sense of reasoning on that part. And you can screenshot this. And number 4, it says the tribe was formerly known as the Moors. Formerly known as the Moors. So-called Indians. Formerly known as the Moors. That's the power of words. And we're going to actually, this is a stone head that was found in South America, the Olmec. And if you just look at the characteristics, he's not an Englishman. So these are the so-called Indians, the people you're looking at. These are the native people of America, North and South America. They had features like this that you see on the screen. And go ahead, Sadiq. Go ahead, Moore.
Sorry about forgive me for that. I forgot to take my hand down. Sorry about that. I didn't have any. Sorry about that.
And we're gonna close it here because if I go on, it'll continue over into other topics, and so it's getting close to 9:30. And I try to do better with getting off right at 9:30. Sometimes we'll go over.
Okay, did the person post the information that we was talking about? I don't know.
Yeah. So Kwasi, if you want to pull it up, if you want to just like on the first page, it talks a little bit about that if you want to go into that.
Okay, thank you.
I'll excerpt of it. You're welcome.
And so we're getting ready for the conference next week, May 18th. If you all haven't got your tickets, be sure to go ahead and get your tickets. Be a part of the energy. Let me mute somebody. Be a part of the energy. Get involved. Share it. Tell it to your friends and families. And try to come out if you can. If you can't, should have make it known. So maybe a couple of us may have an extra. You may be short $80, $200, but you really want to go. It means a lot to you. And it may be some of us that's going, maybe we can conjure up some of that to help you go, but we have to use words to convey it. And so I hope you all enjoy the study group. Like I say, it'll be every second and fourth Wednesday. So we'll meet again on the fourth Wednesday, and we'll go into part 3 of the transatlantic slave trade claim. And we'll look at some of the stoneheads. I actually got this idea from it was on Moorish Mondays. And one of the sisters, I can't think her name, but she went into the stoneheads. She went into the crest, the coats of arms.
Oh, yes.
And that was on Moorish Monday. It may be on O'Connell's Helping Our People Elevate page, but tune in to Monday.
Sister Mia Moore. Sister Mia, she's on right now. Sister Mia's doing right now. We'll talk about that, Sister Mia Moore. Was this that was on? Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago.
And I was like, man, this breaking it down. You can even see like, about the stars and culture. You can see culture in the coats of arms. She was just breaking it out. I was like, man. So that's why I added this part in there. This one in there first when I was listening to that. I said, let me throw that in just so people can see how long we've been here, and put it all and just kind of just trying to piece those thoughts together that in our mind. Well, how do we know this? Well, you got archaeological evidence, you got war records, you got treaties, you got diplomatic, you got letters, and so it's a lot of stuff you can use as basis to see what was really going on versus even Brother Kono talks about Harlikas and they got it start changing the pictures, the images, and lighting the skin tones and even imagery. Pictures being used as weapons. Pictures are weapons. And so that's all I got for you all. If anybody want to come on and kind of say anything or any additions, how they think it can be improved or be better, or want to know how to start their own study group, just kind of have some little dialogue for the last 3 or 4 minutes about something that's been on your heart with this, on your mind.
Can I just quickly add in? I posted the first link that I posted was an analysis of the word blackamoor. I just posted a second link for the analysis of the word savage/barbarian. So that's where that will be, just so you know.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Well, Islam, fourth Wednesday, we'll be back. Part 3.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Islam. Well, thank you all for participating. But know that the goal is to act, but we just got to do this, but don't, it's just what we got to do, but we also got to act.
Absolutely.
So, be sure to conduct or start conducting however you want to, your outreach method on how you want to reach people. And I'll help you step by step. Even if you want to do a garden, if you want to start your own garden, I don't care where you are. I don't care where you are. I'll come to you. You'll help me get to you. and you have a group of people that are ready to work, and we'll make it happen. But we won't just do it just tomorrow. I'm just gonna jump up and drive to Arkansas. You know what I'm saying? We'll be talking, for months. You won't be able to do it this season, but start planning seasons ahead. You can start. I can tell you what you can do, and I'm still learning too. But in my learning, I'm willing to continue, because they're gonna make me stronger. It's just my third year in, but I'm saying I act on it though. I act on it and bring it to real life where you can see it and touch it. And so the outreach is part of that. And so be sure to know that just getting on the study groups when we have them is powerful. But know that you yourself hold a position in making this happen. It's not just because we the ones doing the study groups that we, got it all, can do it all, for us acting it out. So you hold a position. And so don't get too comfortable with just merely listening to the study group. It's to be activated.
Hey, Islam, bro. I wanted to say something real quick. This brother Ronald. I put it in a chat maybe 2 weeks ago. I forgot, I cannot remember who or what I was listening to, but over in Africa they got like I don't know if it's Asian, just to say, I don't know if it's Japanese, let's just say Asian people that's like kind of stuck over there, or refugees, whatever they is, but they call them black people too, because they disenfranchised and such and such, whatever. Just to put that out there for all the people, they get us with the black thing because we melanated and dark and all that. They got us with that. I got a close friend, his nickname is Black. But I'm saying, outside of us being melanated, you know, it's black people in other people of other races, Japanese or Asian, whatever race they was, but they called them black people over there. And they black for the purposes of being what we are here, disenfranchised and everything else that we suffer under, during these days and times. But I'm just saying, that's just to throw that out there. For now on, when people be saying they black people, you know what I'm saying? Well, it's people that ain't black, ain't got melanin, you know what I'm saying, in Africa, of a lighter persuasion, whatever, but they call them black people for the same purposes that we call black people. Just to throw that out there for all the people that won't give up the word black. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got a friend that's nicknamed Black, and that's fine and dandy for his color. But for any other purposes, that word means something totally different. And that's just another tool in the box. Yeah, I came across that. So I put it in chat about 2 weeks ago, but I just wanted to say it. I wish I would have said it that day, but I'm saying it now. Islam.
All right. And you all just look up the etymology of black. It really ain't got nothing to do with the color, but brother just talking about the connotation, how we, what we got going on. Oh, we black, that's his nickname, but we know that black is not even a color though. And but that's what was value that he gave though. That is the political, dealing with politics. It's a status, how it can be applied. It's not based in your skin complexion. The brother just used it based off of the connotative meaning of dealing with us being black people. So he's just using it just as slang. And so that was powerful what he brought out. How he did. So appreciate that, Brother Ronald. All is well. I catch you all tomorrow. Brother Connell's study group is tomorrow, every fourth Thursday. And so you'll get the link. We'll send out the link for that as well. Be sure to get on. And you all be enlightened. Peace.
Peace and love. Take care, everyone.